Hey sports fans, welcome to Haroon's Hangout, the internationally featured show on simple, straightforward and fun. As always, we are presented by the Khemeia Network and Khemeia Consulting. Today, how to use social media to find strategic partners. And I am joined by the one and only, the head of business insights at Khemeia Consulting, Mr. Jon friggin' Stephenson. How's it going, Jon?
Good morning, Haroon. Good to be on your show again. Looking forward to it.
Awesome, awesome. So today we're going to be talking about the power of leveraging. I'm going to talk use it to your advantage. Second of all, how to target influencers. These are people with networks that are bigger than yours, who have got far more social media followers than yours, and that all ties in with the leveraging. And then how to approach influencers. So there is a way to do this. People get this wrong all the time, and if you don't do it right, you're leveraging. So diving straight in then. So talking about leveraging then, Jon, we've had a lot of us with leveraging. I think for the benefit of the audience, leveraging able to leverage someone else's network. That's from a digital marketing context. So that means if Joe Blogs in my industry has got 100,000 Twitter followers, okay, and they tweet my content, then my content has reached 100,000 people. That's just the way. That's just the thing about leveraging. So it's how to get your content shared by people with networks that are much bigger than yours. And we've been doing this quite a lot recently, particularly with the shows, haven't we, Jon?
We have, and we've had some good success with it. And also, along the way, we're still learning with it as well. We'll hold our hands up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but that's all part of having an innovative process.
Totally. And I think, well, let's use an example. So one of my personal marketing, Jon Haydon, and he's been on the show, but we didn't always know Jon. You know, he was just like anybody else. We didn't know him. He didn't know us. So let's talk about how we actually targeted Jon. Not that we targeted him as such, but the way we approached it is that I saw that Jon had some great content online, all around Facebook marketing. And for those of you who don't know, he's the author of Facebook Marketing for Dummies. So I looked at his content, really liked what he had to say. He was an influencer. I mean, at the time, he had about 45,000 Twitter followers, 200 at the time. So he's an influencer. When he speaks, people listen, right? So what we did was I just started sharing his content. So whenever he would post something on Twitter, you know, or post something on his blog, I would share it, and I'd say, "Great piece by Jon Haydon," and I would use the @ symbol so that he gets to know I would share it. Now Jon started seeing this, you know, that Haroon is sharing my content regularly. So he would then start responding to me. That's the great thing about Jon. He's very social. So he started saying, "Thanks for sharing," you know, and we started to talk a little bit. Now it turns out, and you know, you will influencer. Me and Jon like the same baseball team, the Boston Red, talking a little ball, and it sounds so silly, but hey, sports, music, films, these are things that connect people. You can find something where you can connect with somebody. So then eventually, after we developed some sort of relationship, I then just said to Jon, "Hey, I've got, we come on it?" And he said, "Yeah, great." So then, you know, Jon came on, really liked it. We've got a relationship now, and he's been on a few times. He's going to come on again next week for the Christmas special, which is absolutely brilliant. But that is an example now, just a quick story of how you can have an influencer, you can approach them, and then there you go.
Oh,
over to you, Jon.
I was about to hop in and say, just to summarise what you've just said, and I agree with it, that you've hit the nail on the head, Haroon, that building great relationships takes time. It's not something you can snap your fingers and have an instant success story with. Also, as well, you've got to give without asking for anything in return. And you've got to respect the audience, because if you don't respect the audience, you're not going to be rewarded by them sharing your content. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, you should just do stuff because you're being nice, genuine, and sincere. I mean, that's just. I think people can smell BS from a long way off if you're just blatantly trying to use somebody because of their network. Then it's just not going to work out. So, well, is that the relationship? Let's say that you're actually, you've got those building blocks in place. Let's talk about the system, and I've just alluded to it a little bit earlier. When you're sharing stuff or you're featuring these influencers, tag them. Tag them in Twitter, use the @ symbol so they get notification. If it's Google+, use the plus, okay? Facebook, I would be very careful about. So if you've got a picture, people don't like to be tagged in pictures, but most. So the thing to do, don't overdo it. As for instance, when we're doing the show, we do mention influencers on the show, and quite often afterwards we'll just go and mention them. We'll just say, hey, we featured you on the show. Hope you enjoy it. And they get back to us quite a lot, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I think there's an inbuilt BS metric monitor as well, if you know you're getting it right or wrong. And that's simply that if you've got it right, your content's going to get shared across multiple social networks, not just one. And that's the sign if you've got your approach right when you're speaking to these influencers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hangout is presented by the Khemeia Network and Khemeia Consulting, which is innovation agents. Innovation is the key to. I just want to kind of talk a little bit more about the content as well, because we've made sure that we always said this, the content has to be worth sharing as well, and I think a lot of people miss that. I mean, if you think about it from the influencer's perspective, they are, well, they've got to that point because they have got good content. Okay, so you can't just expect to send them any old random piece of crap blog post and expect that they're going to share it, because they've got a reputation. They've built their reputation because they've got good content. So you've got to make sure that that thing is on point, don't you?
You do. I mean, I think there's a couple of things that you can do internally as a business when you're thinking about this. Excuse me. And it comes down to budget, measurement, and adapting to the challenge as you go along. And there's 3 steps, I think, Haroon. The first one is your strategy. So what's your strategy in terms of your prospects and your customers, and how does that align with your marketing process that you've got in the company? The second one is content marketing. Are you using this content in terms of generating traffic, SEO, lead generation? How does it fit in with your buying cycle for your product or service? And the third one is lead generation, which links to the influencer really. It can't just be a blatant sell for your company, because it's never going to work. It's going to be a soft sell.
Yeah.
You've got to capture the interest of the influencer, and it's not just about jumping up and down saying, hey, we're a consultancy, or we've got a great product, we've got a great service. Oh, by the way, would you like to appear on the show? Completely wrong. So I think it's a 3-step process: strategy, content marketing, lead generation, to do internally before you even think about possibly approaching these influencers, Haroon.
Now, I mean, the title of the show is how to use social media to define. Now, let's just, because in a business context, a typical traditional business context, a strategic partner is someone that you would partner up with to. Now, from a digital marketing perspective, because the show is all about digital marketing, in case you hadn't noticed, the strategic partner is more about like an alliance, people who you're going to form a good relationship with, and who are going to share and advocate your content on a regular basis. So that's why we've laid the groundwork, first of all, to say you need to have those good relationships with the influencers, how to target them, how to approach them, and get them to share you. But now it becomes, okay, is this just a one-time thing? Or are they going to become more of an alliance or a partner and start to share you and promote you on a regular basis? That's what we're talking about. Blogs with 100,000. They keep sharing your content as a strategic partner would. That is friggin' gold dust for you. That's free advertising for you, isn't it?
It is, it is. And moving on to the third part of the show, I mean, how to approach influencers, Haroon. I think remember that building relationships takes time, and as you pointed out, you've got to be yourself, be genuine, and not self-serving. If you're self-serving, that's a quick way to fail very quickly. I've just noticed you put a slider.
Yeah, and I always say, it's not live yet, but yeah, I was just going to say that absolutely. I think you have to always make sure that you're worth following, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, Haroon.
So be sure to catch 9 a.m. Sorry, I think we've got a bit of a delay there. Sorry, go on, John. What were you going to say?
I was going to hop in and say that from an influencer's perspective, what you really need to think about is why the devil should they care? What is it about what you've got to offer that's going to help them? And I think you need to make a plan, Stan. You need to work out which influencers you want to target, and you've got to make sure that your objectives are smart. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. Still there, or have we got...
Absolutely, couldn't agree more there. So just be sure to catch 9 a.m. with Khemeia, where every business can be profitable. This is the part of the show now as well where we go into the audience engagement, where you guys can ask us anything, business, marketing, or even life in general. I've had a few questions about the Super Bowl and everything and my picks for that, but let's try and keep it marketing related. So I was asked this week by a client. We introduced them to Bitly, the URL shortening tool Bitly, and they just said, we want to know more about it. What is it used for? What are the advantages of using Bitly? So, I mean, we use it quite a lot, don't we, John? I mean, do you want to maybe give us a rundown about what Bitly is?
Yeah, sure. What it enables you to do is, if you think of the world of Twitter, and you've got 144 characters, what Bitly enables you to do, if you want to link to an article or a website or something of interest, instead of having a really long URL or a long tag, Bitly enables you to shorten that tag right down. What that does is it gives you more breathing space or more characters to play with.
Absolutely, and we apologize. There's a bit of delay with the sound, so sorry if we've been cutting each other off and everything. But yeah, so I mean, I just said, yeah, it's a great way to shorten your URLs, gives you more characters and things, and then you can track the amount of clicks that you're getting, which platforms they're coming from. So is it from Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, all that, and which countries as well, because some companies that information is important. If you're an international business, you want to see which campaigns are doing well in which countries and all that. So that's a really rough kind of overview of Bitly. We'll put the links to that. Using it, hop on. It's a useful tool. So moving on then. I don't think you've seen this yet, John, but let's talk about next week's show. So next week is going to be the first ever Haroon's Hangout Christmas special with one of the influencers that we've talked about, Mr. Jon Haydon. So he'll be with me about some of the biggest social media fails of 2014. We're going to give you our commentary on those things as well. But from me and Jon the Major Stephenson, we would just want to thank you for watching today's show. We hope you found it useful. Check out the show notes on the. Take care, sports fans.